Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I know my surroundings are a bit different. Basically, I've been under the weather the past couple of days, and so has my son. So my son is actually throwing a fit because it is bedtime. It's just been a rough couple of days, and I had some work done in the kitchen, and things are chaotic for me right now. So I appreciate you for tuning in. I'm sorry things are not how they normally are, but we're just gonna get into it. So today we are reviewing The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 13, episode 4. So it seems like the season is progressing. It's getting better. It's getting more interesting, especially with the new girls thrown in the mix. So I'm excited to see what else they have in store. So we open up the episode with Cynthia, and she is doing yoga with her sister Mal. Yes, that's her name. Her sister Mal and Kenya. And they do their exercises. They look like they need some more practice. After they finish the session, they're talking, and they end up talking about Cynthia's wedding and the wedding planning that she has going on. Cynthia is expecting Kenya to be considerate of her idea of what she wants her wedding to be like, and Kenya is basically on the same side as her sister and her fiance, in that she is really telling her the truth and what she needs to hear. So Cynthia's not having it. Kenya was getting all loud and yelling and cutting up, and Cynthia, you have to. She was doing a lot. There's a way to get through to your friends when you feel like they are spiraling out of control. And Cynthia, I feel like, is spiraling a little bit out of control. I get that she wants to have this big extravagant wedding, and that is totally understandable. But the way that she is acting is making it seem like the wedding is more important than the actual marriage. So I get it, but at the same time, she is throwing a tantrum. She's way too old to be acting like this. Like, just have a civil conversation off camera. But then again, this is your storyline. And this is the second time you've had this storyline. So at this point, I don't care. Kenya admits that she has been doing some sketchy things to some friends, and she feels really guilty about ruining Cynthia's engagement, which I don't think she ruined it, but what she did was very, like, why would you do that? But it's Kenya we're talking about. Later on, we have Candy showing up, and she's meeting up at a restaurant with Kenya, which is so interesting that the two of them are friends. I know they've been friends for a while, but it's so weird to me. Their personalities don't look like they gel. But Kenya talks to Candy about how she feels bad about everything that happened last season with her ruining the engagement, and she says that she wants to make it up to her by throwing her an engagement party, which sounds like a super cute idea. She asks Candy to, I believe she asked Candy to send out invites or something, and Candy immediately called her on her BS by saying, I feel like you want me to put my name on this invitation so that these women will come, because if your name is on it as the host, then ain't nobody gonna show up. So I totally get her feeling that way, and I agree. And she gave that little laugh like, ha ha ha, no, that's not, yeah, that's what it is, I know. They continue the conversation, and they talk about Portia and all the work that she's doing. And of course, Kenya has to shade her on that. She says that Portia is purposefully trying to get arrested, and clearly I don't think that's the case. And then she tries to cover up her statement. I feel like she knew that her statement was not the best statement about what she was doing, what Portia was doing, and what was going on. So she covered it up by saying one of the times she wasn't even wearing a mask. Okay, Kenya. But Candy immediately says back, like, you know, hey, she's doing her thing. And she calls her on her shade immediately. Then Kenya talks about having Toya over to the house and how they were having shots and having such a great time, and they're on the fast track to being really good friends. And then they set up this whole narrative about Kenya being bi-curious with Toya, which I don't believe, but I think that's just a setup for the later events of the season, because everybody's heard about the stripper incident and they want to know who hooked up with the stripper and all that. I feel like that's a setup. Across town, we have Drew going to counseling with her husband. She talks about in the past how they've tried counseling before, so this is not the first time that they've seeked out professional help for their issues that they have. However, he would not do the homework. He wouldn't stop showing up at the sessions, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was arguing with the therapist, like, because he argues with everybody about everything. So the therapist asked them what goals do they want, like, for each other. Like, what do they want from one another? What are their goals? Drew says she wants transparency, meaning, you know, tell me where you're at, where you're going, don't hide anything from me. Genuine love for her son, which is kind of sad, because if you feel like you need to say something about that, that's, you know. And less anger, more peace, which I can understand. She needs some peace in her house, because I couldn't take it. Says that he wants more sex and not to be emasculated in front of, demasculated, whatever. You know what I'm saying. So they go into the history of Ralph's past, and he basically is explaining how he grew up and his parents split when he was young, and his mom was on the brink of being homeless as he was growing up and getting older after his father left, and that he would help her with the bills and providing for the household. And he never received any type of emotional support from her. He feels like she was just left him out in the cold. And he ended up leaving his senior year because his mother was not thankful to him for all the things that he was doing for her and trying to help her. So he went to go live with his father, who's an alcoholic. And she did not reach out and say thank you until after she was evicted from her home. So his senior year of high school, he was homeless, which explains why he has that drive and why I feel like that explains partly why he's successful. I would assume. I don't know for sure, but learning that history really reveals that he is a man who has mommy issues, and he's going to expect Drew to carry that weight in the marriage. Basically, Drew is carrying the emotional weight of his past and the things that he did not receive from his mother, and she just takes the brunt of that, and that's just a lot. So we have Cynthia at her home. Lauren calls her on the phone and invites her to the surprise party for Portia, which is celebrating all that she has been doing, all her civil rights work and what she's been doing. Everybody is invited basically except for Kenya, and I don't understand why Cynthia pushed the envelope by trying to get Kenya invited. I know Cynthia is not the smartest person in the world, but you know their history. You know, like, why are you trying to force this? This doesn't seem like a good idea. But she's just, I mean, if I could bring a +1, I'd love to. Okay. So of course, after getting off the phone with Lauren, Cynthia calls Kenya immediately to tell her what's going on and that they're having the party. And Kenya is immediately shady about the whole thing, saying, well, I wish somebody would throw a party for everything I did. And it's really annoying. So we're back at Drew's house, and unfortunately, Ralph's father has just passed away from a heart attack. So they're packing to go to North Carolina, I believe they said, to attend the services for him. And Ralph just looks Like, I feel like he's experienced so much in life. Like, I feel like maybe he's had so much trauma to where stuff is just like, yeah, you just tired of things happening and coming at you to the point where you can't even like cry or get upset. You just, and maybe it's for the cameras, maybe it was, and he was really gonna express himself when he got home and he was in a safe place, and that's understandable. But it's really unfortunate that this happened right after he was just talking about this story of everything that happened. I just feel for him in that he wanted to do so much with his father that he didn't get to do when he was younger, and now he's at the place where he's able to do it, and he passed away, so that really sucks. So Portia is headed out to eat with Tanya and Marlo. She tells the women she's not with Dennis anymore. And they're just chatting it up at the table, and she's talking about how Dennis is giving her all these gifts just because, and obviously he's trying to win her back. And I mean, she says she's done. Do I believe it? I don't know, but I mean, it's always nice to receive gifts as long as you don't expect anything in return. Kenya calls Cynthia, and she's so excited to go to this event, even though she has already expressed that she genuinely does not believe that Portia is doing this work for the benefit of others. She believes she's doing it for clout, and she's so excited to give Pilar a Rosa Parks doll that she bought. Cynthia informs Kenya, like you could tell by her tone of voice when she was talking to Kenya, she was like, okay, yeah, oh, okay, oh, all right, doll, great, well, and then she basically says like, hey, so Lauren was feeling a bit apprehensive about inviting you. She just really wants the vibe to be smooth and good and positive, and she rescinded the invitation. Kenya is pissed. So she gets off the phone with Cynthia and she immediately calls Candy and she says, hey, so my invite has been rescinded. So what I need you to do is tell everybody about the surprise engagement party for Cynthia, since I can't go anymore. And she is just going off about Portia and how she feels. And Candy is like, hey, maybe you shouldn't have gone, because you know Kenya, she can't not believe in something and go to something involving that, whatever it is, and not say something about it. So that would have been a huge thing, and she would have, it just would have been a mess. I'm glad Lauren did the right thing. So we finally get to the party, and it's super cute. Lauren did a good job putting it together. I think it was a lot, but who am I? But yeah, it was cute. They pulled up and she had all the banners up and the balloons, and it was in the backyard. So we have a few other ladies that show up to the party. Fallon gets there, as well as another lady named Joy. No, but a girl named Joy, which I'm interested to see who she is, if that's gonna be somebody. I don't know if that's gonna be anybody of importance, but Joy. So Fallon says that she and her husband have 8 kids together, which I would have never thought. She's got 3 kids of her own, and he's got 5 kids, I believe, and they're both from previous marriages. And of course, Toya is like, oh, you look like you would date older men. Okay. And then she doubles down on it, because Fallon says, well, I was married before briefly, and oh, was he older? Candy says that she feels really old around these women, because they're all in like, what, their 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, I don't know. That would have been interesting to see Kenya there with them, because it's like an interesting mix. Like, I think that was Bravo's producers kind of like trying to shake things up. And I think they're trying to introduce the idea that the cast can have a major shakeup, in that maybe they'll come up with an all new younger cast. Like, I'm here for it, because it's like we've seen all these women go from not nothing to something. Because I mean, people like Kenya and Cynthia and Candy, like all of them, they had things before the show. I'm just saying we've seen that growth, and their progression, especially with, you know, the increase in money, having the platform, being able to this car. But yeah, I really enjoyed their transformation on the show, and hopefully whenever they do exit, it'll be a peaceful exit, and then it'll be on to the next. I'm excited. So not too much going on in this episode. Still better than the first couple, but not too much going on in this episode. But I'm looking forward to the engagement party, because it looks like that's when we're really starting to get into the mess and see how everybody is around everybody, the group as a whole. So I'm looking forward to it. That wraps up my review on episode 4 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 13. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for sticking with me, because I know things are different and but it is what it is. We're gonna keep it moving, trying to get this content out to you guys. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also follow me at hey_Mrs. Gardner on Instagram, and I will see you next week. Bye.